Hey guys, welcome back to Kona and welcome to race week and basically back in the garden for the first time in a little while. And I just thought I might as well take the opportunity to sort of, first off, if you've followed us all the way through since the start, just to say thanks very much for following the journey this far. One big step left to go on Sunday and just a couple of really minor training sessions to do just to keep limber before then. And I thought I'd just basically take the opportunity today to go through sort of my race kit, some things that I've maybe changed a little bit since Leeds, and just kind of talk about what I'm going to use and why, and hopefully, yeah, maybe give you something to think about if you're looking to do Ironman yourself or you're looking to get into it. I can share a few things that I've learned and why I've changed a few things. So let's jump into it. Okay, well, start with the simplest one first probably, which is the swim. So swim wise, all I'm doing is obviously easiest thing to start with is probably the biggest item, which is the wetsuit. Now the wetsuit I use is an Orca S7. I haven't got it down here to show you, but I'll show you a photo of it here from the final training session at Windermere. So the last big training session obviously involved the wetsuit, which was last week at Windermere. Pop the stats up here. We did 3,600 metres, I think it was, which works out to be about 3,880 yards or something like that on the for the old-fashioned among us. Now the Orca S7 is I think it's classified as like a beginner suit. It's essentially a 3 to 5, I think is what it's referred to, and what it tends to mean is it's got 5mm neoprene around the legs. Now the original wetsuit I had, which was an open water core, I think was 2 and 3 everywhere, and actually getting the S7 with the 5mm neoprene around the legs and around my hips, it's made a massive improvement to my open water swimming. All I can really say is if you're new to open water swimming, really look for something that's going to give you a lot of float around your legs, especially obviously doing front crawl and things like that. If you're looking to just put around breaststroke, then you don't need so much, but yeah, being higher in the water actually has helped me massively. You save a lot of energy and it just streamlines you a little bit, stops you from dropping your legs, which acts as a bit of a speed break in the water. So yeah, I mean, so Orca S7, I'm going to use that on the day. Now the only problem is it's kind of like it is very tight on me. I use a medium tall and it's probably as small as I could use, and it's a great fit. It keeps me nice and warm, but it does eat my neck a little bit and you get some marks on the back. But I've got some good anti-chafage cream for the day, so hopefully the swim should go no problems. I know the wetsuit works, I've done the distance, and the other item of the swim, which was an absolute game changer, it was the first time I spent real good money on them, was these are Zone 6 Vapors, I think they're called. But I can't sort of emphasize enough how important a really good pair of goggles is. I mean, you can get away with shitty goggles in the pool because you can stop every 25 or 50 meters, let the water out and things like that, and then if you fog up really badly, it's not such a big deal. But in open water where you're looking at sight and things like that, comfort is a big deal. These are by far and away the best goggles I've ever used. The class, I can't recommend them enough. I got the flash gold ones because why the hell not? Why not? Might be the only gold thing I get on the day. So, but anyway, yeah, the vapors and things like that, they're spot on. But that kind of covers the swim. Other than that, I'll just use whatever swim cap I get on the day. Hopefully it'll be a nice bright one, so keeps me in the eye of the medical boat in case there's any problems. But knock on wood, we won't have any issues like that. So yeah, so let's get on to the probably the most important part and the longest part. So yeah, the biggest part of any triathlon is usually the bike, unless you're doing some sort of weird distance. But yeah, it's often referred to as just a bike race with a swim and a run tagged on either end, and the bike is super important. And I have changed a few things because of that, and partly because of the distance of the event, and partly because I had to. At Leeds, I actually did have this race belt, and I completely forgot it. And what I did is I just basically stuck my race number onto my tri-suit, which was fine for Leeds, but actually in the athletes pack for Ironman they won't allow that. So I have to use the race belt, which I'd prefer to use anyway, so I've just got to make sure I don't forget that. Plus it just makes everything easier. You're not fighting with a soggy number when you're trying to get your wetsuit off and things like that, and if you tear it off and lose it, well, it's just not good. I suppose the marshals are going to probably be keeping a closer eye on you and things like that, and it just helps everybody think see your race number just in case something goes wrong. You've got all your details attached to it. So yeah, the race belt, it obviously is a must for the Ironman, but yeah, I'd recommend that if you're doing any length triathlon, and just don't leave it in the car like I did at Leeds. And beyond that is, again, choice of clothing, which kind of crosses over into the run as well. At Leeds, I used my Hoob long course tri-suit, which is it's a one piece. Now, because of the distance of this, I mean, I'm going to be on the bike. I'm aiming for probably about 6.5 hours on the bike. Faster if I can get it, but yeah, I don't want to be taking any more than about 6 hours, 6.5 hours. And that's a long time to be sat on a bike, piling a lot of fluids down your neck, a lot of food down your neck, and not need to stop for a toilet break or anything like that. And one thing I found quite comically on the Leeds triathlon, I didn't need to do it, I didn't need to stop on the course, but very soon afterwards I very quickly needed to get myself to the toilet. And because you're on a one-piece tri-suit, you practically have to strip off starkers to get any sort of like use of your bit. So it's yeah, not something that people talk about often on YouTube and training channels, but yeah, the practicalities of the one piece, it's super comfortable and I love it, and it's probably a little bit quicker aero wise, but I mean, I don't really go fast enough to worry about that. And but yeah, for being able to, I want to be able to jump off my bike if I have to and hop a fence and have a pee in a bush if I need to, because while there's going to be toilets on the course, they're not going to be every mile. So yeah, it's just, there's a practical aspect. The other thing it doesn't have is pockets, which is a bit of a disaster for, again, something like this where I've got to carry as much sort of food and drink as I can with me. So what I've done is I'm going with, so just basic pair of tri-shorts, and I've got an Orca tri vest. The thinking behind this as well, it's sleeveless. So if it's a day like today where, I mean, it's, what time is it now? It's getting on for 4 o'clock now, and it's very hot. I'll hopefully be out on the run by 4 o'clock, and it's going to be just having no sleeves on, maybe just let the air get to me a little bit more. Obviously run the risk of burning a little bit, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But that has a couple of pockets in the back, so it gives me, when I do come past the gel stations, I can take a handful, take on board what I need there and then, and I can smash a few into my pockets, and I can just go from there. It just gives me a little bit of comfort knowing that if I need to carry anything extra from an aid station, or if maybe if I don't know, if I've got a bit of an upset stomach but I want to take one for 5k up the road, I've got that freedom because I don't need to carry it in my hands. I hate carrying things when I'm running, and probably the only thing I do get away with carrying is this GoPro. But yeah, so I've switched to that, and also I'm switching from a black tri-suit to one that's predominantly white. The only black parts on this are like a really thin mesh, so the idea is it might reflect a little bit of heat away from me, and the black parts that are going to absorb the heat, it's mesh, so the air's going to get through it. So fingers crossed that'll work just fine for the bike and the run clothing wise. Onto the bike proper, the bit that's given me the most the bit that's given me the most hassle is probably what I'm going to do for a mechanical. So obviously the bike I use, I don't think I've introduced it properly before, to Cervelo P series. Mine's just the basic 105 one. It's a fantastic bike, very comfortable even in the TT position. Some people don't get away with the TT position and stuff like that, certainly over long distances, but I mean, I've never found it a problem, and I actually find it more comfortable riding on the aero bars than on the tops there. So, but yeah, so the main thing that hassled me about it was what I was going to do if I pick up a puncture. The roads are notoriously bad around Bolton, so what I've done is, obviously we went down today, I've picked up a few spares and things like that, so I've got a couple of tubes under my seat. Hopefully I don't need to use them. If I'm in a position to help somebody out with them towards the end of the bike and it doesn't look like I'm going to need them, I'll happily give them away. But yeah, a couple of tubes, they're going to get taped under there to make sure they don't come off. The big change I made on the bike is I've took the aero bottle away from here. The one critique that I've got of this bike is that aero bottle isn't very good, so I've took that away and replaced it with a regular size bottle cage, because I'm going to be getting regular size bike bottles out on the course, and I need to be able to just replace them as I need to. So that aero bottle's away now. I'll put that back on for TTs and for short distance strides and things, but for the long course stuff where I'm replacing bottles and throwing bottles, I don't want that aero bottle there. So I've got 3 cages. I've got a very nice lightweight one at the back, which I managed to inherit from somewhere. I don't know where it came from, but it's actually quite a nice expensive bottle cage, but I'll keep that. That's a spot on one. There's a Vel one on the bottom, which I just picked up today, and then I've got the one off the X-Lab Torpedo. Now the bottle mount I really like, but the actual torpedo itself, I like using it, but it's a disaster when it comes to cleaning it. It is a nightmare to clean, and it's horrible. If you leave it damp, just all this crap just accumulates inside it, and to try and clean it out. So I don't use the actual bottle, I just use the bottle cage itself. Spares, on top of that, I've got some CO2 canisters in there, and that's, again, self-explanatory, just for blowing the tubes up if I need them. And yeah, hopefully, I don't need any levers, I've got nowhere to put them anyway. but hopefully my thumbs will do the job to get the tyre off, get the tube in and get the tyre back on when it blows up. Helmet, I will be going with the Aero helmet for the day. It's a Kona Cronus, I think it's called. It's a relatively cheap one. It's about 30 quid. It looks very similar. It's just like a copy of the Casque Bambino by the looks of it. Obviously still got the race numbers on there from Leeds. They'll be replaced on the day, and basically that's it for the bike essentially. So I've done a lot of miles on this bike now since I got it. I've done a good few thousand miles. I've done some really long rides on there. I've obviously done the full distance iron ride. When I went down to Buttertubs, that was 100 and, well, just shy. It was 108 miles, that was. With a lot of climbing in it. I've climbed some big hills with it, New Big and Common, Buttertubs Pass, things like that. And it's served me really well. Thankfully, so far, I've never had any punctures when I've been out on either short rides or long rides. I mean, in a group ride the other week, I rode over a broken vodka bottle, which was on the side of the road for some reason. And the tyres have held up. The Vittorio Rubino tyres, and they've been really good for me so far. But let's just hope that I don't have to try any of those spares out on the day, because I really don't want that sort of stress. I just want to crack on, and I don't want to be learning how to do that on the roadside in Bolton. So fingers crossed we get through that with no failures. And then we get on to probably my favourite part, will be the most painful part, I would imagine, on Sunday, is the marathon on the run. For the run, I've used them on most of my longer runs, and every one of my speed sessions since I got them. I'm going to use the Hoka Carbon X2s. They're a fantastic pair of trainers. The only thing, my critique of them is the toe box is a little bit of a queer shape compared to my Mizuno's, which I do most of my bulk mileage in, and I do tend to get a little bit of a blister on my middle toe on my left foot. But it's never, I mean, I've done 18-20 mile runs in them, and it's never to the point where it's sore. It's only ever sore when I finish it. So and I do get, actually, I find myself at an easy pace, a good, probably, I mean, blame me if you want, I find myself probably for the same effort, I feel like I'm probably 15-20 seconds a mile faster in the Carbon X2s than I am with my Mizuno ones and stuff like that. Could be easily in my head. I'll leave you to be the judge of that when you try it out, but I do think that they're much faster trainers. And I think for the little bit of discomfort, they're certainly not as comfortable as my Mizuno's, but for that little bit of discomfort, if it can help me out, my calves feel a lot better when I run in them, and I feel like I'm faster in them. And on the day, there's so much mental toughness that goes into just a marathon, which I know from, and I'm assuming it's going to be the same for the whole Ironman itself. And just having that little, even if it is a complete placebo, just having that in my head that I'm faster than these trainers, I think that's going to help me out. So yeah, 100% Carbon X2s on the day, and the rest of it is just going to be trying to stay calm and stay organised on the day. The race briefing was, you almost needed a bit of an enigma machine to decode some of it. There's a blue bag that goes one place, and then the blue bag's for the bike, but then it becomes the swim bag when you take your wetsuit off and things. But I'm sure the volunteers on the day will do a good job of keeping us in check and making sure we're putting everything in the right place. And that's about it. Really, the race nerves are kicking in a little bit, and I'm just desperate to get there now. A little bit of an issue over the last few weeks about the medical side of things. Ironman Race Direction wanted a bit of information off my consultant, just to make sure that they were happy for me to do it. Seems to be all sorted now. I've had nobody telling me that I can't do it, so we're just going to turn up on the day and check my QR code in, and we're going to go for it. So hopefully nothing comes out of the woodwork on the day when we go to register that says we can't do it. And yeah, we're going to get there and hopefully knock it out the park for brain tumour research. So yeah, just to give you a bit of a shout out, the link is still active in the description below. That's going to be active throughout all the Ironman afterwards, all the training up to Outlaw in September and things like that. So we're going to finish this one on at the next event for brain tumour research and hopefully get as much money as we can for them. If you're in the northeast, on Monday morning, hopefully, assuming I don't drown in the flash, I'll be on the, I think I've got a slot booked in with one of the breakfast hosts on Radio Tees to just have a little chat about the fundraising, how it's gone and how the training's gone. So that'll be a nice little treat, and hopefully, yeah, that'll generate a little bit more awareness. But thank you very much for all the support so far through, and I hope you all hang along for the next stage of this, which is going to be after the Ironman, trying to get much faster on that. Just so I can justify buying a disc wheel and get faster for Outlaw, because it's going to be a much faster race. And yeah, just can't say any more. Just thanks very much to everybody. And yeah, if you're there on Sunday and you either see the hats with the logo on, or you see, I mean, my parents will have them on, my boy will have them on in the spectator areas, or if you see me go past, I think I'm 842 race number, if you want to watch me on the tracker. and I'll pop that in the description below when I double check, or I'll pop it up here in the edit. And yeah, if you want to watch me on the tracker, and yeah, if you see me, give us a shout, high five on your way past, and hopefully I'm quick enough onto the run to catch some of the pros on their final lap. So hopefully next time I speak to you, it'll be with either a finisher's t-shirt on or an Ironman medal around my neck, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So that's all for today, and thank you very much, and I'll catch you next time.